having to navigate U.S. collegiate systems, right? When scouting or evaluating, in your own words, why is Title IX so important and for us to commemorate and still celebrate that today?
Well, for many, many reasons, to be quite honest. I mean, like you said, I am Australian. So, Title IX, when I came to America, obviously I learned, a lot about that. And it really just comes back, but the giving opportunities to women to play sport, okay, to be involved, to have equality, to be able to play a wide range of sports. Because I know that wasn't always available to them, and to have the similar facilities. I mean, there's so much that can go into that, but being treated the same, you know what I mean? I know the financial part, maybe a little bit different in some situations, but you can still have the same facilities. And it's great when I get to know, obviously, coach a lot of American players and coming through the college system and talking to them about, they talk to me about how great their facilities are now. And it wasn't always like that. So that's a big change. Knowing that you're being respected as a female, I think that's really, really important as well. But just giving opportunities to play sport. And the more we give opportunities to females, I mean, they become role models for the younger generation. And I think that's particularly important. Young kids, young girls need to see, and to see, people of other females playing sport. We want a healthy lifestyle, and I think now with the professional leagues that we have in America, I always tell all kids is you have to dare to dream, because it's all possible now. So yeah, I think Title IX coming in 50 years ago, which is, yeah, I mean, that's a long time, but probably not long enough. But I think a lot of great things are happening, and a lot of great things will continue to happen. So obviously, as a female athlete and a female coach, that makes me very happy.
Daring to dream. I love how you worded that. And as a role model, you are one. I mean, from your days as a player and then a coach internationally and in the WNBA, like a 3-time Olympic medalist, Australian Basketball Hall of Fame, you have so many accolades to your name. But looking back at when you started to dare to dream as a kid, how did you get into basketball? What influenced you, and what kind of inspired you to pick up a ball?
Well, that's a great, there's always a start for everyone, isn't it? And I have to pinch myself sometimes, to be quite honest, that I'm doing what I do now, and very happy about that. But look, when I was younger, I was really into track and field and quite good at that. Australian champion at the age of 12 in long jump. So, that's where, my involvement was. But my sister was asked to play in a team with some of her friends, and I went along and watched, and just someone had asked me. It was a country team. I lived my dad's a sugarcane farmer, so I lived in the country, so rural of the city of Mackay, which at the time was about 50,000 people. And I was asked to play they had formed a country team, and they were short of players. And to be quite honest, I can remember this is my first time playing. I just fell in love with it. And I think one of the reasons was, being in track and field, it's all individual. I was a very shy kid, and it was playing with my, players that became some of my closest friends. That was fun. And I think it was just the fun in sport and going out competing with each other. It had a lot of special moments.
When we're looking at your professional career, playing in the WNBA, being drafted by the Detroit Shock in 1998, just the second year of the WNBA being launched previously in 1997, we're obviously doing a celebration episode here, and we're talking a lot about the histories of things. So in terms of playing professionally in the States, in those first early few years of the league, what were some of your early, perceptions of the league, just sort of jumping feet first in the 90s there to sort of seeing the experiences of players now?
Yeah, look, for me, I loved playing basketball. I was playing in the National League back in Australia, and then I used to go playing in Europe, in Germany. I played there for 10 years, and I was one of the first players with Michelle Timms and Shelley Gorman to go over to Australians being recruited overseas to play in Europe. But then when the WNBA was formed, it was an excitement for all Australian players. We were obviously a very competitive nation. 1988 Olympics, we finished with the fourth spot. 1992, we failed to qualify, but 1996 was our very first time that a basketball team had won an Olympic medal. So I think it was putting us on the stage too. And Michelle Timms she was one of the foundation players with the Phoenix Mercury in 1997. And, the next year there was so many Australians in the league because I think we had put ourselves on the map there. And we like to think that, we're really well-rounded, skilled players. And, for me, it was just a huge excitement. It didn't matter that I went the fourth round. I went to the team of the Detroit Shock with two other Australians and Rachel Spawn and Carla Boyd, and Nancy Liebman was my coach at that time. But I just loved playing basketball, and I wanted to play against the very best players and to test myself and to be the best I was, not to be better than the next person beside me. And quite honestly, I had a blast. I just tried to, probably overplayed a little bit too much with the injuries that I got over the years, but it was a huge excitement for me to playing in the best league in the world. Obviously over the years, it's changed a lot, but in those early years we had, I can remember going to Madison Square Garden and having 12,000 people. And for me, that was astounding because I'm like, the Olympics against USA, that's that was a massive crowd. But then going in the WNBA and playing every team, we were having so much people coming in to watch us. So it was a huge excitement for me. And I think, obviously the league continues to grow. I think the players get better and better. And I think the sky's the limit now for the WNBA.
It did start as something smaller. I mean, obviously it's grown today, but even as you mentioned, it was so big for you back then because you have experience from playing overseas and playing at the Olympics. But throughout these moments for you, these big moments for you, were you ever faced with moments of discrimination because it was the WNBA or you were a female playing and looking to compete at these high levels? Did you face anything that were gender discrimination throughout those times?
To be quite honest, no, I did not. But I suppose I was just happy to be there at the time. I'm Australian, coming into America. So I know other players would probably say that they had, but, I had a great experience coming in. And until some of the systems, oh, okay, it's a little bit different. But back in those early days, we were all affiliated with an NBA team. So the facilities were great, I suppose the travel was a little bit different, but I didn't know anything different back in those days. So, you know what I mean? So I think that was that. I was just very, happy to be there, but I am, thankful obviously for the progress that we are making and we'll continue to make for the years to come.
In those moments when you were just happy to be there and you're just happy to be playing along with your friends and in front of great crowds, what were you taking from those moments? What were you learning from them? Like in those, you mentioned playing in Madison Square Garden in front of 12,000 fans. What was going through your brain as to kind of that point in your career and what you were experiencing?
To be quite honest, I was just focused on trying to be the best player that I could be. And not in an individual way, but how could I help my team and how help we can win and play in the right way and trying to be better and learn new experiences. For me, I was just soaking up the whole experience, to be quite honest. I loved competing. That's why I played. I used to go from one league to the next. For 10 years, I never had a break. And a lot of these players still do this to this day, but I just loved playing. So, I'd go play in Europe and then I'd play in the WNBA and then I'd fit in all the Australian Australian team commitments as well too. So look, I suppose I had so much passion for the game. I just, loved being on the court.
In terms of your career in WNBA, we look a lot at this now in terms of how, whether it's WNBA or women's pro soccer or what we're watching right now with the women's hockey league, how things can progress year to year. When we're looking at your WNBA playing career from 98, 2003, were there moments where you were looking at how the league changed from that first year until you made your exit playing professionally?
Yeah, I don't think it really happened during my playing career, to be quite honest. I think it happened in my coaching career, and you kind of realize like, I knew, for me, my goal was to play in the best league in the world. Like I know my very fourth round pick in 1998, I earned $19,000, but, at the time I just loved competing. But now I know like this is our job. So I'm glad that obviously financially we're getting rewarded more, but we know we can go to another level, and that, hopefully that's going to happen sooner than later. But for me at that time, like I said, it wasn't even about the money, but I understood as it progressed, it was like, okay, this is my job now. So, and you only can play sport for, a limited amount of time of your life. So, and that's where it came down. Okay, what was the best experiences that you can still earn a nice living, but still do something that you love.